Welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Your host, Jill Hart, the coach's Alchemist. Couldn't be more excited to have you join us today. On this podcast, we celebrate the champions of change, the up-and-coming life, health and transformational coaches who are fearlessly stepping forward to make a difference in the world. Get ready for inspiring stories, practical tips, and powerful moments that will motivate you to make a positive change in your life and those around you. We're happy to have you join us on this incredible journey as we dive into the world of life, health, and transformational coaches who are lighting up the path towards a better tomorrow.
Hi, and welcome to the U World Order Showcase podcast. Today we have with us Jennifer Lee, who's a certified Reiki practitioner specializing in relaxation, releasing negative energy, healing from past trauma, chakra balancing, and improving mental health and overall well-being, primarily focusing on distance healing. What makes her services stand out is that she not only does Reiki and chakra balancing, but she follows up with spiritual wellness coaching. Welcome to the podcast, Jennifer. So nice to have you here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So let's start out with the elephant in the room, because we were talking about this beforehand, and you were a little bit worried about talking about spiritual wellness coaching because not everybody is into the whole woo-woo thing.
Yeah.
And I'll just let you take it from here for a minute.
Yeah. So when you think of spiritual, there's two ways you can go about it. Like sometimes if you're very religious, you'll think that is what spiritual is. And then sometimes in a different sense, spirituality could be something completely different, such as, connecting with your own inner self and being a co-creator with the universe. So that can include multiple different things, such as using divination like tarot and oracle decks, or even just walking outside and earthing and planting your feet into the ground and just connecting. So there's different types of areas of spirituality. So it could become a little bit almost of like a gray area. But it kind of is, it's a very open type of concept, and it's not just closed off to one thing or another.
I agree with that. It's more of the holistic approach.
Absolutely.
However you view whatever you think.
Absolutely.
It all draws together under that umbrella called spiritual. It's that thing that connects us all. No matter what you believe, we are all connected.
Absolutely.
And every path points to that.
Yeah.
So you do most of your coaching online? What does your coaching entail? How does it all look? And how did you get started? Maybe we should start at the beginning.
So what I don't just do coaching one-off, it's included with the Reiki energy healing. So what that looks like is I do a lot, like you mentioned, online. I do a lot virtually, but I also do a lot if you're local to the St. John's area. St. John's in Florida, so like really close to the Georgia line. So I'm up in North Florida. But I do primarily distance healings and virtual healings. So what my sessions generally look like, they're 75 minutes, and the first hour is Reiki energy healing and chakra balancing. So I'll go through each of your chakras, and a little disclaimer, most time people think that there's only 7 chakras in the body, when there are over 100. So there are chakras all over our body. So I spend time going and working through all of the chakras and trying to really rebalance and reconnect you so the energy can flow freely. And then those last 15 minutes, I go over what chakras may be balanced or unbalanced or balanced. And then my recommendations, but I'm also an intuitive. So I get really connected and I hear messages, that things that maybe you would benefit from, and I recommend them to you. So I give you a bunch of different recommendations, or I call them homework, for things for you to work on in between sessions. So I love to give more than one recommendation for like either each chakra or what messages came up, because I want you to feel comfortable with what modality you're going to continue to work with. And of course, there are always recommendations, so you can always take them or leaving. So that's kind of what the coaching entails. So it is, yes, me using my spirituality, connecting with source and connecting with the universe and getting those downloads and those messages from my guides, and even your guides that are around you, that help give me information and messages that you need to hear.
That's really interesting. Can I ask you a question about the chakras?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are they kind of connected to, like, you know how we do acupuncture
Mhm.
and there's different points on your body? Are those the chakra points or are they different? I
I
know
think
they're two
they're a
different
little, yeah, I think they're a little
modalities.
different because it's funny, like there's different points on the body that can be for different things. Like I know on the bottom of your foot, I don't know if it's like kidney or liver or something, if you do like an acupressure point there. So I think those are a little bit different, but those are still energy centers.
Mhm. Yeah, and
So
the
I think
whole
it's a
foot
little different.
zoning thing
Yeah.
is another, because
Yeah.
it's like all of your nerve endings travel down to your feet. And if you
Yeah.
put stuff on your feet, like, okay, we'll just do Vicks Vapor Rub because most people don't know what breezy is. Um, but if you put like essential oils on your feet at
Mhm.
night, put on some socks, they'll travel to the parts of your body that need whatever that essence is that it's got in there, the chemical properties, because it's all like everything runs up and down your body to your feet, which
Yeah.
is when I
Yeah, and
learned
it's
that it was
funny that you mentioned putting essential oils there. If you put essential oils either on the palm of your hand or on the bottom of your feet, those
Mhm.
are the most easily absorbed areas too. So like you mentioned, it travels up. So if you are looking for like a quick relief, if you're looking to like cool down, you might want to do like a peppermint oil on the bottom of your feet so you can help kind of cool down your body a little bit.
Yeah, and they work like insanely well.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not all that familiar with Reiki energy, but I do know a little bit personally from about Qigong energy. I don't know if it's the same thing, different name. I mean, energy is pretty much energy, but I know from personal experience that you can gather up the energy and feel it. There's ways that you can like pull it towards you and then pull it over you, and you can feel it fall down your body. It's a
So
physical sensation.
that's funny. I've actually, believe it or not, never heard of the term that you just said. Was it Qigong? Is that what you said?
Qigong. Yeah.
Qigong. I've actually never,
Q-U-I-D-O-N-G.
I'm not familiar with it.
Huh.
I'm learning something new right now. Yeah, so I'm not sure if they're similar in any which way, but yeah, like energy is energy, yes, but it can be experienced in different ways.
Mhm.
So when you do Reiki energy healing, you're mostly just like a conduit. You allow it to go through you so it goes into the recipient. I don't put my own energy into someone, so I'm not using my own like energy.
Mhm.
I'm just using universal light source energy. So I don't necessarily feel it, but my palms of my hands will be like burning almost. Like I could feel it in the palms of my hands.
Mhm.
But I don't feel like the wave of energy just kind of flow through me like that.
Interesting. Interesting. So I know that I'm going to tell you the story about my dad and
Mhm.
his experience with healing with whatever kind of energy work was done to him. He does Tai Chi, and he had his neck was almost frozen because I mean he was having trouble moving it at all. Like he would move like, his whole body with his shoulders to look over to
Oh
the
yeah.
side. Um, and he had this young guy come out to the community that he was in and do some energy work on him. He said the guy never touched him at all. He just moved his hands over his body
Mhm.
at a distance. And my dad, after that experience, could suddenly move his head easily. I mean, like turn it, and it was no problem after that. And this has been years ago, and he's still able to move his neck freely.
Wow,
That's
yeah.
how powerful energy work can be.
What you gave me chills. Yeah, that's so true. I mean, it sounds what you described is exactly what I do in Reiki.
Mhm.
So it could be Reiki, but it could be another form of energy healing. So there are a few different forms of energy healing, but It is so powerful. And just like your dad experienced that, I actually just had two clients in the past, I think 2 or 3 weeks. One came in for sinus issues. So I helped her drain, without touching her, drain her sinuses so that way she can, breathe a little better. And then another one came in with digestive issues. I guess she was having like some stomach issues, and I kind of helped move that energy, and she's been feeling great these last few weeks. So, I mean, energy is so powerful.
It is powerful, and you don't have to touch people. I mean, sometimes you think because of the world that we live in that, you have to be physically touched and manipulated in order to get a result. But I've had experiences with doing intentions. I was part of an intention group for a while, and we would hold intentions for each other, the whole group of us. There's usually like, 5 or 8 people in it. And I had hit my thumb. I hit the bone with a pneumatic nail gun. And it was a brad nail, so it
Oh
was real
God, no.
thin, but it hit the bone and it hurt so bad. And that night we were doing the call, and I was just like in so much pain when we started, and they held the intention for me that it would heal totally. And by the end of the 20 minutes that we held the intention for, it was fine. I could bend it. It didn't hurt. It was as though nothing had ever happened to it.
Mm-hmm.
They were not in my same neighborhood. They were like all over the world. We all came together on a Zoom call, and that's how powerful this kind of energy work can be. And you don't have to be spiritual under the like you don't have to be spiritual under any label of
Right.
spirituality in order for this to work. You can be a total non-believer in how energy works, and it'll still work for you because it just works.
Right. It's
So
remarkable. I mean, I think it's amazing.
so yeah, you don't have to A, be there, and B, you don't have to hold any certain philosophical outlook on life. It only works, like you might think it only works for people who are super duper spiritual and you meditate hours a day. Those people
Right.
can get healed, but nobody else.
Yeah,
Nah,
exactly.
works on busy moms, overworked dads.
Yeah,
It works
absolutely.
on everybody. Doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah, and I mean, I
Um,
know we talked a lot about physical, but I mean, it can help heal in so many different levels. It can help heal your mental and emotional well-being, and other, and even if you wanted to tap into more of your spirituality, be more connected to the universe or God, whatever you believe in, it could help, connect you on a deeper level that way too, if you wanted to even go down that avenue.
yeah, it really can. It just helps you be more you
Yes,
and be
exactly.
more you
And be more
feeling
connected.
better.
Exactly.
So, how do people actually work with you?
Like, how do people find me?
No, how do they work with you in terms of, do you do like group coaching? Is it all one-on-one? Do you have a series of
Okay,
sessions?
gotcha. Yeah.
How does that
So
work?
I do a lot of one-on-one. And then I also do packages. So people can buy a package of like a 4-pack, whether they're distance or in person if you're local to my area.
Mhm.
And they can either do it that way, or I do a 12 long weekly like program, which is also one-on-one. It's more of like a membership where you do like weekly healings and weekly coaching, and we talk about different things and different ways to heal ourselves. But I also do about once a month, I do a group in person and virtual. I guess it would be like an event or a workshop, whatever you want to call it. So, and every month is a little bit different. So this month, for example, I am doing an in-person, I'm partnering with a yoga teacher doing restorative yoga and Reiki. We're doing that in person. And then next month, I'm going to do a Reiki, what I call like a Reiki circle virtual. So that'll be available for anybody, anywhere. So I do a little bit of everything, if that makes sense.
It makes total sense. And so how do people find you if they want
Um,
to
a,
work with you?
a lot of the times I do get referrals, but I also have luck finding people find me on Instagram. So I do a lot of different wellness tips on Instagram. I talk about what Reiki is, I talk about people's experiences. And then that's a great way for people to kind of just get to know me and feel my energy. And they can either decide, I like this person, I want to work with them, or I don't know, maybe she's too hyper and exciting. Like, I don't know if I want to work with her. Like, so, I mean, it's a great way for people to get to know me. And what I absolutely love is I do love sharing tips. I love sharing things that can help ground people's energy, help with them with wellness, help them with their health, and different things like that.
So what is your Instagram handle?
It's Zenjen Holistic, spelled Zenjenn. There's two N's, Holistic. Zenjen Holistic.
Perfect. And that's also the name of your website, right?
It is, yes. That's the name of my business, my company.
Awesome. And people can find a free offer there to attract the life of your dreams. You want to talk
Yes,
a little bit
yeah.
about that?
Absolutely. Yes. I love it. I love it so much because you can print it out, or you can, I mean, even if you just download it and you type into it, that's fine too. But you can do it as many times as you want throughout the year. What I love to do is I love to do it by quarter, but if you want to do it by month, that's great too, because the first of the month is a really great time to really set those intentions. And
It is.
it's 5 journal prompts for you to really either, you could sit and meditate on it if you're not a writer. You can sit and actually journal on them if you'd like. And it really helps you to focus on what you want to attract, what you're currently doing, and what is not currently working for you. So it helps you really take into consideration, like, okay, this is this is the track I'm on. This is what I need to be doing. And this is what I am currently doing. This is what's working. This is what's not. So it kind of helps you really just like pinpoint those specific different things that you may not think about. Because a lot of times when we're trying to manifest something, we're thinking about like, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. We don't think about, okay, how do we get there? And I don't like to overanalyze things, because if you do, then you're going to choke that energy. You're just going to be like, it has to be done this way and there's no other way. I like to look at the different areas of like, okay, here's a few different ways I can get there. This is what I'm currently doing, and this is what I'm, doing that may not be benefiting me. So, for example, if you're trying to attract, I don't know, maybe like you're trying to attract your soulmate or something. And, you can talk about like, oh, I'm currently, making sure I spend time with myself, and I, am, currently going out to the coffee shops and whatever, like just trying to meet new people. And then you could take a look at what is not working for you. So, maybe there's like a lot of negative things.
Online dating.
Yeah, online dating. Yeah, maybe that's not working for you, or maybe you just settle because you don't want to be lonely. Like that's something that a lot of people do. Or and that could be like for a job or something too. Like you settle because you don't want to, look for something else or something better for you. So that just helps you kind of really pinpoint your goals. I know I went on a tangent on that, so I'm sorry, but
No,
I
it's
love it. It's easy. It's 5 journal prompts, and you can, meditate on it and write on it and do it as many times as you want. And it kind of helps you think in different avenues, if that makes sense.
makes total sense. And I'm a really big one on manifesting. And one of the biggest tips I can give people for manifesting is focus on what you do want. Don't think about what you don't want. Just, you know, if you're looking for your dream guy, dream big, baby. You know, color of eyes, how tall they are, what they
Yeah.
do, what kind of shoes they wear, what kind of, do they snore at night?
Oh
This is an
God.
important thing you should be thinking
Yeah.
about when you're manifesting the man of your dreams.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to get this hunky guy that you just love to death, but you can't sleep with him because he snores like a freight train.
Yeah. And to take it a step further, also think about the things that you guys are going to do together. Like, I want to go on
Mhm.
hiking trips or do this or do that. So yeah, you can even take it even further. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Same goes for houses or
Mhm. Wow.
clients
Yeah.
or whatever you're looking for to bring into your life. You know, as I say, dream big, baby, because
Yeah.
if you don't fill in all of the colors, the universe will do it for you. One will
Yeah.
provide it for you.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
say,
Exactly.
if you don't want to dream, one will be provided for you. So yeah, And I've manifested so many amazing things, and they never show up the way I expect them to show up, but
Mhm.
they do show up in the way that I imagined they would become materialized in my life, if
Right.
that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you look at vision boards that you've created in the past,
Mhm.
and then you go back and look at them, it's like, oh, got that, got that, got that, got that, got that. Even if you just made them and stuffed them in your drawer.
Yeah,
Just,
it's fun. It is fun to go back and look about like how much you've accomplished and all the things that you've already manifested to. And that could be fuel to your fire. If you're like, man, I can never get this, or I can never make this much, or whatever it may be, like think about all the things that you've already accomplished. Like, I mean, it's pretty outstanding, like the things that we've accomplished in our life, and we just kind of overlook it.
and we overlook little things that come into our lives. Um, like if you're trying to manifest a sum of money and you find a penny on the ground, the tendency is just to think, oh, yeah, it's just a penny. But
Mhm.
it's really, it's the first penny towards whatever that sum is that you're looking for. It showed
Exactly.
up. Be grateful
Yeah.
for it. Hey, it started.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you want to manifest money, right? Money showing up for you. And you just walked by it. I mean, you're just like, oh, it's just a penny. What does that have to do with anything? Imagine all those little pennies and the dimes and everything that you find. You put them in a jar, and I mean, you can take them to a store and, cash it out for bigger bucks,
And you can turn it into stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Buy something with it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just we 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 miss the trees for the forest. We're looking for the forest, and there's this lovely tree standing right in front of us, and we need to appreciate the tree first before we can appreciate the whole group of them. And
yeah.
the same goes for money or your house or your kids or your spouse or the guy that you're hoping to meet.
Hmm.
you know Truly appreciate being with the people that you're with, and the person that you want to be with will suddenly appear. And it's kind of a marriage tip too.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't have to change husbands. You just have to change you and your expectations of who your husband is to suddenly fall in love with a new person,
Yeah, absolutely.
because they can change.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to your follow up with spiritual wellness coaching, what does that mean to you, and how does that look in practical terms?
So when I connect, I mean, I don't ask spirit anything when I'm doing Reiki and energy healing. The messages just appear, and I'm writing notes real quick and jotting them down, and just kind of intuitively listening to what their body and their energy field is telling me. So when those last 15 minutes that after I finish up the Reiki session is when you and I get to kind of talk about like, how are you feeling? What did you experience? I'm like, some of these things popped up, and a lot of the times, people, especially if it's your first time working with me, people will ask me like, oh my gosh, are you a psychic? And I'm like, I never really considered myself a psychic. It's just, I can tap into your energy. Like energy speaks loudly. Like, I mean, I don't even have to listen to it. I can see it too. So I'm able to kind of talk about like the things I have picked up, like this is the messages that I found, these are what chakras I found were blocked, these are my recommendations for you to work on unblocking them. So that's kind of what those 15 minutes, it's a very interactive kind of like, this is what I recommend, what is comfortable for you, like what do you think that you can commit to doing like in between our sessions, because I believe in giving people tools to continue to heal themselves. Because you don't need it. It's just like, when you go to a doctor, they're just like, you have to come back and you have to see me to get more meds or get more of this or whatever. No, I believe in treating you holistically. And I believe that you should have the tools to be able to help heal yourself too. And I mean, one thing that works for somebody may not work for another person. That's why these are so, so specific when I work with them, because I'm tapping into your own energy. I'm not tapping into anybody else's. So those last 15 minutes are very interactive. We get to talk about like, okay, so, if you're not going to see me for another like 2 or 3 weeks, these are some things that you can work on. And, I'm always available for them to reach out to afterwards and follow up with questions and things like that. So that's kind of what that looks like.
So, what kind of homework do you what does the homework look like? I guess
So
I
it
should
could
ask.
be anything. So say, for example, you have a blocked like root chakra, or you may even have a hard time just trying to relax. So something, so it could be anything like that. So we can kind of talk a little bit about like what that would look like. So I may get a few different messages like, hey, so you have a blocked root chakra. A few things that I recommend for you to do is, to work on grounding your energy. So I would spend 5 minutes every single day, putting down your phone and just meditating. And there's so many different ways that you can meditate. So, if you have a hard time shutting down your mind, maybe you could just go outside and just do like a visual meditation, just like look at all the colors you see and, look at the texture of the trees and things like that. Or you can do a visual meditation of like waterfalls or something like that. Or if you like to just listen, you could do a healing hertz frequency or binaural beats. So I might recommend them do some type of meditation every day. I may have them, journal if they like to journal. That I'll come up with a few different things, but if they're like, I'm not really into journaling or whatever, maybe they don't do that one. So maybe, journaling for a minute every night to do a little bit of gratitude to help them kind of calm down. I might recommend like some breathing exercises, either do really deep breathing for a minute or do the fourfold breath, like for 4 reps or something. So different things like that. So I'll come up with a few different things that kind of, like when I'm working on them, a few different messages will come up. And so, I mean, that could be for one person, and another person may be like, okay, I recommend you going outside and walking barefoot, So every person's going to have different recommendations based on, the messages that I picked up from them. So that's kind of what their homework would look like.
So it's not stuff that requires you to go out and do a whole bunch of things or buy a whole bunch of things, or
No,
stuff that's like
no.
way outside the realm of stuff that you will actually do.
Oh, no. Yeah. Like, I mean, yes, there are things that, you have to invest in. Like like if you want to do Reiki, you're going to have to invest in a Reiki. If you want to, do journaling, if you don't already have a journal, you'll have to invest in a journal. So things
Yeah,
like
but
that.
that's
Yeah.
like cheap. If
Yeah,
you get a
exactly.
notepad or printer paper, it
Exactly,
doesn't
exactly. But a lot of
have to
these
be.
tools you can do at home from the comfort of your home, or if you're traveling, or even if you are driving, like especially if you have a hard time relaxing, maybe do some deep breathing while you're driving. Obviously don't close your eyes and meditate, but maybe some deep breathing while you're driving might help keep you calm, especially in the chaos of the traffic. So yeah, I mean, these things that you do at home, these healing modalities, they don't need to break the bank.
Right. And some of those things, like, breathing techniques, we all breathe, but we don't
Mhm.
all really breathe.
Right.
And
It's
learning
intentional
how to
breathing.
intentionally breathe
Yes.
changes your life. I personally, I know when I learned to box breathe, the 4 beat,
Yeah.
um, I started sleeping at night, like all night. And that was just like, it was a life changer for me.
Wow. How many reps do you usually do?
I usually do about four, 3 or 4.
Okay. Yeah, that's
It's
usually what
not
I
like
do.
it's not a really long time. Nothing that I do is like for long periods of time,
Mhm.
but I do it every night, and I just have this ritual, and I go to sleep and I stay asleep. And at this point in my life, anybody that's over menopause can relate to this. And it's a struggle to go to sleep and stay asleep all night.
Mm.
But the box breathing really changed my life in that aspect.
Oh, wonderful.
So
Yeah, I love
yeah,
hearing that.
those kinds of tools are really important to share with your clients. And I,
Yeah.
I'm positive, because you do share them, that your clients get amazing results. I
Oh,
mean, you just can't
absolutely.
not.
Yeah, and what I love is, I mean, they think that they like, sometimes people think, oh, it's in between a session, I can't text her. But I love when they text me or they message
Mhm.
me online or they email me, whatever it is, and they're like, oh my gosh, I did this meditation and I feel so freaking good. Or like I did the breathing and honestly, it's been helping me sleep better. Like I love hearing that feedback. You don't have to wait until your next session to tell me. Like you can text me and be like, oh my God, this is amazing. I love hearing that because I love to know that it's working for you. I mean, it's just such a great win. for both of us. I mean, I love to celebrate your success. So
It's like it raises your vibration as well as their vibration, just in the
absolutely.
getting to experience how joyful they are over the experience.
Yeah. And when I do Reiki, I mean, I feel so lifted myself. I know it raises my vibe,
Mhm.
as well as obviously raising theirs, but I get so much benefit from it as well. And that's why I absolutely love it, because it's mutually beneficial. But I love helping people transform their life, and I love helping people heal.
That's so amazing. So, what's the one thing that you'd like the audience to take away from this conversation? I know we talked about it a little bit beforehand, but
Yeah, yeah. So I know we mentioned, like, when we were talking about, going through a session and then like instantly feeling better. And that happens a lot. Yes, you may feel instantly better, but I do want people to keep in mind that healing is a journey and it's a process. So, say, for example, you have deep rooted trauma or deep rooted anger or depression or something like that. It may take some time to heal. It does not happen overnight. It may take a few sessions, or it may take a few different modalities to help you heal. And I want people to keep in mind, it's also almost kind of like a lifelong thing to do. Not that you have to continuously go to Reiki every week or every other week. It's just when you're healing, like when you're, say you finish your package of healing, however many you go to, you could feel great for a very long time. Say you feel great for years. But there could be something in the future that may pop up or trigger you or something. That's just another opportunity for you to work through and to continue to heal from that. So I like to think of healing as like a journey. And a lot of times it could go smooth after you've done a lot of the work and you've helped heal those trauma or those blockages that you may have experienced before. Um, but sometimes things pop up in the future, and that just takes a little more healing. So healing is a journey, but it is a beautiful journey once you decide to jump on that ride.
I love that. It
Mhm.
kind of brought to mind the idea of a rubber band. When you get a fresh new rubber band, it's kind of like your trauma. It used to its shape and it wants to stay in its shape.
Oh
But if you
yeah.
keep stretching it and stretching it, it'll have a new shape.
Yeah.
And it'll be comfortable in that new shape and it'll quit going back. And it's kind of what healing is like. You're stretching the rubber band. And if the rubber band is already sort of stretchy, then it's going to be easier to get it to stretch and
Mhm.
stay in that new shape. But if it's really new and um, not used to being pulled, then you're going to have to pull on it more in
Mhm.
order to get it to change. So that's just what came up when you were talking
Yeah,
about that.
that actually brought
It's
up
an
a
analogy.
yeah, absolutely. And I think it was a great analogy, because it actually made me think of something else. I want everybody to be aware of that. Every person's journey or healing journey or whatever, or life even, they're all our own. Not one person's healing journey is going to look the same as another's. So don't compare yourself to anybody else, because you're on your own journey. So, maybe somebody can heal a little quicker than somebody else, but that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It just means that, you need a little more healing. And I could speak firsthand from experience. I needed a little bit more healing than some of the other people did, because I've experienced a lot of trauma. So a lot of healing was needed for me to get to the point where I'm at today. So, it's not an overnight process, but you can get there. And honestly, it's beautiful on the other side.
It truly is. And it's more of a growing process
Yes,
than
absolutely.
than a healing in the traditional sense of,
Right.
you're you're broken and then you're not broken. It's not that you're broken, it's just that you have some growth to do in a certain
Right.
area, and exploring that growth allows you to bloom and blossom and to grow and um to change, to become the person
Right.
that you're more aligned with yourself, which sounds odd, but we tend to wander around in these packages of shoulds and need to and have to
Mhm.
be this certain way and it has to look like this before perfection is reached. Well, no, it doesn't. You
Right.
just have to be open to allowing change to happen within you that will make you actually feel better and feel more like you and be more comfortable with you.
Right. Absolutely.
So thank you so much for joining me, Jennifer. This has been
Thank
an
you.
awesome conversation. I've really liked it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the You World Order Showcase podcast. We hope you've enjoyed hearing from our incredible life, health, and transformational coaches who are making a profound impact on the world. Remember, change begins with you, and you have the power to transform your life and the lives of others. If you want to take that next step and unlock your true potential, visit thecoachesalchemist.com, where you can find the 3 ways we can help you for free to spin your talent into gold with clarity, a system, and a plan. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an inspiring episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more people with our positive message. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and upcoming guest announcements. You can find us on Facebook at the You World Order or simply visit thecoachesalchemist.com.